Hey, I'm Chad Holmes, high school pastor here at North Coast Church in Fallbrook, and this is your weekly update to help try to keep you parents in the loop with what we're doing on the weekends so that hopefully you can build off of what we've been talking about in your own homes. So this weekend we started a brand new series called True-ish, and looking at the idea of truth and how our culture seems to be kind of spreading what truth is from a black and white issue into this whole grayscale of issues. And so this week was the basis of that series, looking at what is truth, a question that comes straight out of the Bible, out of John 18, when Pontius Pilate is talking to Jesus at his trial at the end of his life. And Jesus proclaims, hey, the whole reason why I'm here is to portray truth to this world. And Pontius Pilate asks him that question, well, what is truth? And we don't get that answer from Jesus in that scripture, but as we look through scripture, we come up with some answers to those questions. So first of all, we dove into, first, why is it important to know what truth is? And the basic idea behind that is because our actions are determined by what we believe. Everything that we do in life is simply determined by what we actually believe is reality in life, right? So we don't jump off of bridges because we know that's going to hurt us. And so basically understanding the truth, which is the basis of our beliefs, would just impact our life so greatly. And if we believe that what we do and who we are impacts what we are forever and who we are in God's eyes, that's a pretty important thing. So we opened up with that, and then we looked at two different tools that I believe Satan is using in our culture today to really just try to scatter truth a little bit and try to make it, instead of a black or white issue, a little more of a gray issue. And those two things are two isms that we talked about. The first one is relativism. The idea that there is no absolute truth, that truth can change over time and be different in different situations for different things. And we looked at how that plays out in our culture today, as well as subjectivism. The idea that not only can truth change, but it's determined by me, the subject, as to what truth is. And the Bible teaches us that's not the case. Even just sheer logic tells us that there has to be absolute truth. That statement that there is no absolute truth would have to be an absolute. So if you don't have absolutes, then you can't even say that. So we looked at some of those things and looked at how that plays out in our culture, and asked students, and all of them raised their hands to this question: how many of you heard the statement, hey, that's okay for you, but that's not what I think, or that's not what I'm going to believe in, but that's okay for you? And everybody raised their hand. We live immersed in this culture of this truth just being faded, and it's real important that we hold to that. And so for the remainder of our time, we just tried to simply answer, so what is truth then? And two things that I just brought out from Scripture. One was, truth is not just a what, but a who. And it's clear in the Bible through John 1 and 2, and verse 14, that Jesus says, hey, I am the truth. I am the way, the truth, and the life, you know? And Jesus is this personification of truth for us. A pastor I was looking at this week that talked on this issue said, hey, if you want to know what truth is better, why don't you just look at the life of Jesus and read through Matthew, read through Mark, read through Luke, and look at how Jesus interacted with people and what he stood for. That is truth. And I think that idea takes this big kind of broad subject and goes, okay, here's something that I can hold on to. It's not just a what, but it's a who. And then the second thing about truth that Jesus said in his life is that Jesus, the truth, can set you free. And this idea of why do we fade what truth is? Because oftentimes we're trying to fill a void. We're trying to justify the bad choices that we make and try to fill ourselves up with something that's just not true. And Jesus, real truth, in his grace and in his mercy and in his love, really fills that void. And it sets us free from all of the hardship and all of those things that we question about ourselves when we really give into the truth of who Jesus is and what he's done for us. So that's in a nutshell what we talked about this weekend, and I hope that maybe you and your son or daughter could have a conversation about what truth is in their life, and how they've interacted with that so far, with their culture and in the school systems and everywhere else that they're learning about this stuff. Maybe a great place to start is, what kinds of things do you think are true no matter what? And try to get at this idea of an absolute truth. And then we can build off of that, of what we know about God and what we know about Jesus and what we live by because of that absolute truth about who he is and what he's done. I hope this helps you guys out, and I hope that over this next few weeks in this series that we'll be able to really uncover some of these little shifts in truth that Satan tries us to walk down the path, and really expose those myths about truth. So I hope you guys have a great week, and we'll see you next time.